Hello and welcome to the House of the Spirit. Welcome home. This reading today is about your spiritual path. So, where are you on your spiritual path right now, and where are you going? Where is it taking you? So, for pile number one, we have Aries, Scorpio, Gemini, and Taurus. Your significator card is Maeve with responsibility. The second pile we have Leo, Sagittarius, Libra, and Cancer. Your significator card is Lady of Beasts with relationship. The third pile we have Capricorn, Aquarius, Virgo, and Pisces. Your significator card is Villa with shape-shifting. Okay, I will leave you to choose your pile with your zodiac sign, your significator card, or your intuition. I will see you in your pile. Pile number one. So your significator card is Mauve. Actually, this is how it's pronounced. And she's the Celtic goddess of sovereignty over the land. And of course, the keyword responsibility has a certain weight, of course, but that's why you are also called to be the queen or the king of your domain. So having accountability, but also having the power and the sovereignty, the authority over every part of your life. So your domain. It's very interesting start. So let's see. What else for pile number one about their spiritual path? Okay. The magic vessel with healing. Interesting. Do we have, okay. Ecstasis. Do we have any more fairy cards? Okay, two more. Epona's wild daughter and the spirit dancer. Okay, so what else do we have? We have DNA with sharing, primordial essence, and eternity. And smoke, purification, union, community, and protection. Wow, there's a lot of different concepts here. So I think that because we have Mav, owning the different pieces, and as I see many different aspects here trying to emerge, calling upon you to do something about them, I think that you have to engage. So that the challenge now is to engage with many different things at once and be accountable, be responsible for so many things at once. Possibly sharing many things with other people or other parts entities, parts of your life. Entities. I think that right now in the spiritual path that you're on right now, you are being called upon to heal many things at once and possibly be a part of a community to do it. And this community is about facing hard truths, hard things, and it's about trying to answer life's toughest questions. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what the tarot has to say. And I will get more information on the cards, especially the sacred path. Let's see. The Empress with creativity. Wow, the Empress and the Emperor with the Rebel. So this is the couple of the tarot, the ideal couple of the tarot. It can be an integration of these aspects in yourself. It can be that your spiritual path is taking you towards a relationship that is very powerful, or a place of leadership in a community. But you have union with someone, possibly a partner. The Two of Swords with schizophrenia. Receptivity with the Queen of Cups. Seven of Pentacles with patience. Transformation. This is the Death card. The Fool. The Dream with the Six of Cups. And Three of Cups. Celebration. Okay. Okay, so I guess your spiritual path right now needs you to create a community. It's part of your own healing process and your own spiritual mission here to heal yourself and then heal others. And I think that this is happening because you are taking charge of something. You are taking the responsibility of a certain role, and the community you're creating is very, I think it's very, like, people are going to be very, like, united with each other. They're going to help each other a lot and protect each other from harm. There'll be a lot of sharing. And I also think that this is happening because it's something that your ancestors already did. I think it's something that might have been triggered somehow, that is in your DNA, some sort of primordial, like, intuitive community. Although it's going to be something that will trigger a lot of shadow work possibly in people, and maybe that's because they're going to have to share something. They're going to have to be, there's going to have to be some sort of mediation also. But I also think that there's I feel like there's a leap of faith here that has to be taken. And I feel like you've been waiting a long time for this opportunity. And that once you start contacting people with your idea, they are going to flock to you. They're going to gather around you or around your concept. I think you have a very interesting concept that you need to put out into the world, and that's going to be a challenge possibly because it's something that is possibly triggering some healing in yourself. But it's like, it's almost as if your own healing process has been waiting for this opportunity to share with other people. There are a lot of other people who have also been dreaming of this, and they are going to come to you. But I think you have to first, you're going to have to take some sort of leap of faith here. It's like a jump into a role, jumping into a situation, jumping into a role. I don't know how this might resonate with you. So your spiritual path is taking you on a journey towards a community. Possibly you are the creator of that community. It's very interesting. It can be something related to arts. It can be something related to the land, something related to the healing powers of the land. It can be like the animals. It can be the vegetation, something in the landscape. But it can also be some sort of tradition that is specific to a place. You can also see here like the geese are migrating. These birds, they look like geese migrating. Mauve is always about the land for me. It's really about fighting for the right to own a domain. And and now I see another thing. Sorry, I was interrupted. I saw something. I want to clarify, but I see something that is related to. It's like the release of something, like the release of a power structure. Sorry, it's really hard. I feel like there's a letting go of a power structure that needed healing. It wasn't wrong. I'm not seeing that there was evil or that you have to fight or ward off any evil that is outside of you, let's say. I see that everything that's happening and that might be challenging comes from the triggering of things that are in yourself, that you have to deal with inside your own being. But the thing is, while I was looking at these cards, I was seeing like some sort of ecstatic expression. And I really can't understand if it's like dancing but I feel like it's a spiritual practice, some sort of spiritual practice that might have some aspect of like this is expression of dance, like a loss of control, but at the same time it's more like an expression of being, an expression of maybe dark, some things that you would consider dark. Another aspect of this reading that I think is very important is that your spiritual growth right now needs other people. It's very important that you ask questions. It's very important that you ask yourself questions also. But I think it's important for you to talk to people, to communicate what you are doing, your ideas, to take this leap of faith and possibly trust people with something that is very precious to you or that you didn't think you would ever share with anyone. And I think that there's this sudden like trust in the universe, trust that things will turn out just fine for you. And I feel like you're like emerging from some sort of submission, and it's very important for you to be responsible, to be accountable, to be the one who leads something. Okay. So community, sharing other people, bringing them with you, possibly sharing this experience, or even the experience of sharing might turn out to be something that will make you ecstatic, that will make you happy and hopeful. You see? Yeah, the devil. So it's like it's been a long time, and I think you're very happy that it's coming, that this period is ending of being somehow restricted. There's a healing of this restriction, of this submission, let's say. And it's all about responsibility. It's all about you owning that space, owning the domain, being accountable, being responsible, and being the leader. Affability. This is very transformative for your relationships, and it's also interesting that this whole process might even spark a relationship or make you available to have a relationship. Maturity. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, possibly starting a relationship. Or just if it's not your case, just having more availability for that energy and that concept. Okay, so being more responsible in your relationships, being more accountable in your relationships, allowing yourself to see possibly some hard aspects of yourself with Hippona's wild daughter here. Some harsh truths might emerge about yourself. I don't think that this is in any way about anybody else, although it is a lot about your relationships, how you relate to other people. So Hippona's wild daughter might trigger some, scary thoughts, darknesses, that really blind spots, because she's like the Sphinx. She's the riddle. She's the enigma that you're trying to solve. And she will never give you a straight answer. But I think that you have to search for those answers in other people so that you can answer your own questions. And this relationship with a group, with the community, with also the love for the other in general or in a specific relationship, if you are inclined to think of a specific person, is very key to your spiritual growth and your spiritual path. Okay, so youthfulness. The Knight of Wands. This is very similar to the Spirit Dancer. Even the position of these cards is like letting go of all inhibitions. Like the Fool, it's really open your chest, open your heart to your dream. Opening your heart to that, to the love of your own life, loving your own life, but sharing it with other people. Wow. So beyond illusion, your spiritual path is taking you towards the knowledge of how meaningful you are to other people. I think that you're going to realize how important you are to someone or to a group, like how key, how your specific presence and energy is fundamental, is essential to this flow. It's like you are the maestro in an orchestra, and of course the orchestra can play, all the instruments can be, are autonomous, and all the players, all the musicians can play their instruments. But if they don't have this one person managing the whole group, they just fall apart and they don't know what the other one is doing and what the section is doing. So the maestro is the mirror, the mediator. And I feel like you are that mediator, and you have it's like, you see, like the orchestra has this almost like a fan geometry or shape, like a fan shape, and it's pointing at the maestro. So the maestro can see everyone, can see what everyone is doing, and he brings it all together in one focus point, and then it expands towards the audience again. So it's like almost like this hourglass. It's almost like this shape here, the schizophrenia. So it's like you are essential for something, and you're going to realize that that's the next thing in your spiritual path, is to realize that you are fundamental, you are an essential piece in a specific community, in a specific puzzle, and that you are going to have to take that responsibility in shaping and in conducting the people so that they can concentrate that energy. And it's like augmenting the potential of people, discovering the potential in people and augmenting that. It's I feel like there's a group healing here. There's this, the magic vessel is also like a protective. Yeah, and there's protection here. Responsibility and domain can also be like clearly defining a territory so that it is protected from outside influences or from aggression. And interrupting energies, so that people are not interrupted while they are healing. It's very interesting. It's like you are like leading people also through a process, like for instance, like coaching or any psychological like therapy or growth. There's a growth here, but in a group, in a community that is created specifically for a specific purpose, for a specific purpose, and they have a clearly defined objective. They have there's a logical conclusion to this, and the most important thing is that people keep relating, that people keep connected, they keep that connection, and they use that connection to augment their own individual potential. And there's a union here. So it can be a very powerful union, like the Empress and the Emperor, like a couple, a power couple that is coming together and that is expanding their own potential with their relationship. But I feel like there's this group dynamic here. It will possibly gather around this power couple, or also gather around yourself while you integrate these two aspects inside yourself, the Emperor and the Empress. So the Empress being the mother, the creator, nurturing, receptive, aware of what everyone is feeling, how everyone is feeling, what is going on around, how is the environment, and patient. I feel like it's like the patient mother who understands the rhythms of the moon, the rhythms of nature. But then comes the Emperor here, and this specific Emperor is very interesting because he's the rebel. So he's like transformative. He's someone who comes to lead people towards a change, towards innovation, possibly something that is freeing people. He's a free person. He's the authority. He's free to choose whatever he wants. And that is highly transformative, it brings change. So bringing transformation and change also to relationships and to these connections that are very, very important for your spiritual development right now. So developing yourself in connection to others and in groups, feeling like you're part of a community and that you are responsible for that community is something that I think is on your spiritual path right now, clearly. So beautiful. Thank you so much for this. If you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye. Pile number 2, your card is the Lady of Beasts. The Lady of Beasts speaks to us about every relationship in your life and how relationships are like the fast track for spiritual evolution. They are so demanding sometimes and challenging, and they are also our biggest source of happiness if they are healthy and good for us, of course. And yeah, it's a very primordial energy, a very primitive energy, and it's a beautiful card. It's such a warm and sweet card, Lady of Beasts. Okay, let's see what else do we have. Sorry, I will start with the Sacred Path. What else do we have for pile number 2 about their spiritual path. Okay, smoke signals intention. Interesting. What do the fairy cards have to say to pile number 2 about their spiritual path? Oh, wow. The fairy who was kissed by the pixies, one of my favorite cards from this deck. It's just being loved, feeling love, being loved. So interesting. Do we have any more? Okay. Wow, fairy godmother. Beautiful energy. And maybe this one. Oh, the Glanconer. Interesting. Okay, so this is a very powerful fairy cluster with also the Sacred Path card. Sacred Path card calls to you so that you can, the smoke signals with intention, so that you can clarify your intention. You have to have a clear vision of what you want. This is how you remove the blocks and how you achieve what you want. What is separating you from what you want is the lack of clarity of what you desire and what you want to achieve. So the fairy godmother is, I think it's probably my favorite. I love all the cards, but this card has been in my imagination. This specific picture has been in my imagination ever since I was a little child. And I loved, I'm sorry, still a little bit sick. So sorry for the coughing and the stuffy nose. It's just this season has been very hard. But fairy godmother. So this image has been in my imagination ever since I was a child, because I have the book from Brian Froud, The Faeries, the good fairies and the bad fairies. And I always loved this image. It's such a beautiful, comforting image. It's she brings you grace and protection, and she provides for you what sometimes you don't even think you deserve. She is like bringing you gifts and good luck, good fortune, protecting you from harm. She's vigilant. She's like an owl. You see how this owl is so similar to her face, and her eyes are like the owl's. I really think like she's a vigilant entity, a vigilant angel, protecting you from harm and bringing you the miracles you need, the blessings you need. Reminding you something. Well, let's see what else comes up. But with the fairies, the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. But exactly, yeah. Actually, I'm getting a little bit confused with the words, because I have so much information right now that wants to come out that it's I get too anxious to speak, so the words just get jumbled. So the fairy who was kissed by the pixies and the fairy godmother, they're both about unconditional love and unconditional giving and receiving. They're both about blessings and being loved, feeling protected and looked after. So it's very strong. So your spiritual path is being guided and protected very strongly. by these powerful, very loving entities. But then you have the Glankener, and the Glankener is the card of like the narcissist personality, the card of the deceiver, the manipulator, and it can be an energy that is in your life and possibly helping you grow, because with the relationship card here, this is your spiritual path. Your spiritual path is by relating the relationship you have with others. But the interesting part here is that because I feel the intention is so crucial here, so the way, the idea that you have about relationships, but specifically the idea that you have about yourself, is the thing that is bringing harshness and manipulation and illusion into your relationship realm. So the lack of proper intention, the lack of proper vision is what is attracting this type of personality that is actually not really bad in of itself. It's just lost. It's just a personality that is deluded and ends up creating more illusions for others. And yeah, okay. Tradition, resurrection, truth, sincerity, clear path, and perfume. Sorry, I keep getting these different words. Interesting. I was going to say interest or interesting. Instinct, camouflage, sublime, liberation. Interest. Maybe people are interested in you because of like an aura, a certain aura that you have, but then it kind of it's the wrong, you end up maybe attracting the wrong energy. Just because people are interested in you doesn't mean that they are coming to you with clarity, with sincerity or truth. There are many ways of attracting people, or of attracting specific relationships. I feel like you really have to have your sights clear, your vision clear, and what you project out into the world, so that those smoke signs, they have to match what you want. So your spiritual path right now is to have a vision, a correct vision of yourself. And you are getting all these relationships in your life, whatever they might be, healthy or not, possibly not, especially maybe the ones that are... No, sorry. I think you're getting this is a highly contrasting situation, because this is unconditional love. Giving and receiving, this is just beautiful, the most beautiful, loving situation, playful, simple, honest, straightforward, like sincere love. And this is the opposite. This is delusion, this is lying, manipulation, this is twisting reality, bending reality. You see almost like his body is bent in a very strange way. It's like those carnival mirrors that distort reality. So I feel like you're getting these contrasting values so that you can understand exactly what you want. And also you have protection and grace and gifts coming to you, even if you think you don't deserve them. Yeah. So King of Swords, King of Swords can be a manipulator. King of Pentacles. The Emperor. A lot of masculine energy right now. The World. It's also interesting that Zeus is holding the world in his hand. It's almost like someone is holding your world. Two of Swords. Someone holding your world. Or is it you? So the Magician. Ace of Swords. Okay, we have these. Let's see. Knight of Wands. Okay, so the Chariot and the Ace of Cups. Okay. So, I think that you're getting this contrast because you need to understand what is right for you. You can't really emulate what is right for other people and try to fit in that situation. I feel like you have to discover, to harness your will, your specific way of doing things and acting accordingly. I feel like you need to start your day differently. Starting something. Owning the energy that starts something. Because you need to start with your heart and not with your mind. I feel like starting things, whatever you start, like a relationship, a new endeavor, creative endeavor, an enterprise, anything that you start with the wrong intention will take the world away from you. You need to start with your heart. You need to start things with a loving kindness towards yourself. Because the fairy godmother is also trying to make us do her job ourselves. So be your own fairy godmother. Learn from her what makes you feel good, what makes you feel comforted and protected and loved, so that you can do that for yourself. And you also teach others how they should treat you. And that will create a completely new relationship dynamic that you are going to be able to live. Because I feel like this is an unlivable situation. This is a distorted life. And this will take the world away from you. You need to grab that world. You need to be in the world. But you are only able to be in the world when you expose your true heart to the world. Six of Wands. So I feel like your spiritual path right now has a lot to do with it's like making peace with reality, making peace with some sort of reality, and moving towards what excites you. Knight of Cups. your work and where you are, where is your domain. I feel like there's a magical connection with that needs to be communicated. I feel like there's this precious like fish that is coming from this pond that you need to catch. It's like a pearl of wisdom that is coming, or something from your subconscious that is about your connection to the land. I know that this is a bit weird to say, because maybe there's nothing really here about the connection to the land itself. What I feel is that the environment where you are, like the animals, the plants, or something in your vicinity, something in your physical realm, is somehow magical in this process, and it has something to inform your actions. It's like a clue that is coming. So next on your spiritual path, yeah, and maybe also that's why the fairy godmother, I think she's leaving a clue in your space. Do you know those games that people like to play detective? They get in a room and they close the room and you have to do all these puzzles so that you can get out of the room. It's not, you're not going to be stuck in anywhere, but I think that it's like that. It's like you get in a room in your home or in a place nearby, and it's like inaccessible. I feel like somewhere that is very accessible to you. You go somewhere and you find something that's really like, oh, that reminds me of something, or that is a clue. That is a trigger. It's like a gift that the fairy godmother is leaving for you. Okay. The Hierophant. I'm so sorry. This completely, turned the reading into something else, and I'm trying to understand. Okay, just one more. Justice. I see you. So in your spiritual path, in the future, I don't know if it's going to be very quick or not yet. Let's see if there's some timing coming up, but I feel like in the future, you are possibly going to write a book or to write something. There's something being put on paper. I had this, it's interesting because sometimes I see a card and I think of the meaning of the card, but then the meaning just fades away immediately, and I just have a vision. I just have this, like a movie going in my mind, and it takes a little while to see it and to process it and to be able to speak. So sometimes I just go silent because of that. I saw like this movie in my mind of something getting written down or putting on paper, being published, and completely changing the balance of something. Possibly even healing. This is also interesting here. This is Athena, and she has the owl. Also like the fairy godmother. Although she's very similar, as you can see, to the King of Swords. So maybe this fairy godmother is related to this King of Swords. So there's a character in your life, possibly a masculine, that might have been involved in some deceit, and the fairy godmother is working with you to correct that. That is a more like transpersonal aspect of your spirituality here. I feel like there's a personal aspect, like there's a lot of spiritual understanding and learning that is coming from your relationships. So how you feel loved and how you feel like you're not loved, and understanding these very extreme polarities in knowing exactly what you want after this kind of balancing of these two extremes, or the understanding, the learning that you come up with by living in these two extremes. But there's also a different layer here. That is a more transpersonal effect of this. That is, by understanding your personal experience and the relationships in your life and how you attract certain types of relationships, you will also understand that possibly this dynamic has been in your family for a long time, and you are now bringing clarity and understanding and order to what is really happening. Why are you attracting this situation? So it's like a transgenerational, transpersonal also, because of course in your bloodline or in your ancestry, even a spiritual ancestry, there might have been a certain patterns that are repeating themselves. But ultimately, everything that we live on our personal life in our like a micro scale is also happening in the macro scale. Other people are also experiencing this. So I feel like in the natural process, the natural development of this spiritual path is that you write down the way this happened to you and create a sort of learning, like a step by step. I see like a step by step, or like a very, it's like I see like a very practical book with stories, but also with like lists of things and actions and calls to action. It's something like that that will allow people to have that clarity that they need, so they don't allow themselves to be in bad situations. So because justice is the clear definition of the black and the white, the good and the bad. There's only one way. So it's the sword that cuts through the confusion, and clearly there's a clear definition that's also here in the intention. So having a clear definition of what happened to you, what is happening to you, and what might happen to other people is very important, so that you can also give back the blessings of the fairy godmother in a way. It's very interesting. I would be here for longer because I feel like there's a lot of layers, but I will just leave it for now and see what else comes up in other readings in the future. Let's see. Okay, thank you so much for this. And if you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye. Pile number 3. Your card is Vila, and Vila is the Eastern European term for the goddess energy going through the land. So also, it's a little bit like the Fae. They shapeshift, they turn into animals and different spirits, different plants. They are known for dancing, and it talks to us about flexibility, about not being stagnant, not being stuck, and understanding how to flow and change according according to the land, according to the needs of the moment. Okay. Two cards. Okay. Let's see. The sweat tent with purification, and the arrow, the truth as protection. Interesting. Okay. The Lady of the Harvest and the blank card. Interesting. What more do we have? Initiation, tradition, death and resurrection, spiritual medicine. Again. Wow. This is crazy. The blank card again. Impediments, rules, willpower, refusal, discipline, responsibility. Very complex, a lot of different concepts here, except for, of course, the blank cards, who speak to me about having a blank card, having the ability and being allowed by spirit, by the energy, by God, to be whatever you want to be, to change, possibly. You are allowed to change. Willpower. The Lady of the Harvest can be about getting something from your efforts, of course, with the harvest here. But I feel like there's this death and resurrection tradition. It's really telling me with the shape-shifting that you have to change some sort of way of doing things. There's something that has to be let go, because the Lady of the Harvest is also about learning what is no longer that necessary so that you can receive what you need. And what you need is something that has to do with expressing your willpower. It has to do with accepting your own rules. Making and accepting your own rules. So purification is also sweating things out. Possibly dancing and sweating things out. It's telling me that possibly your spiritual path has to do with some sort of physical effort that you need to go through so that you can prove something to yourself, or so that you can have confidence in what you want, so that you can create what you want. Maybe seeing your will in action is something that is very affirming, that's very grounding to you. And I also see here that whatever this past thing was that you need to let go, that you need to purify, and kind of, I feel like there's sort of an exorcism also here with the sweat tent. It's really, I feel like there's this, there's also warm, I feel like warm, and possibly there's rage. I feel rage. I feel like I need to express rage. And when I see the arrow here and truth as protection, I also feel like there's kind of a warrior spirit, a warring need. Okay, let's see what else comes up. the Nine of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, the Death card. There has to be some sort of transformation. So your spiritual path right now is about death and resurrection. It is about the death of something and the transformation of that thing, and putting in its place something else that you need to discover. The Ace of Wands, having that, handling your own will. It's like being honest, but being able to harness your own will without the villa, they also kind of test people, and if the people they do something that they don't like the fairies, they dance the person to death. That's why I'm seeing this. It's like you have to move until it gets out of your system, getting something out of your system. Spiritual medicine. The movement and change, and that you see all the muscles here and the movement of the body, and using your body to extend the bow so that the arrow flies exactly where you want it to. There's a physicality here, also with the harvest. It's like having to deal with the physicality of letting go and starting something new. The Wheel of Fortune. Seven of Cups. Okay. The 5 and the 7. The Emperor. When things change, you get to run the show, let's say. 6 of Cups. Temperance. So there's this healing here. Page of Wands. Pages. So, what's interesting to me about this card is representing Ganga, the goddess of the Ganges River, the Ganga River. She is, usually the Temperance card is holding 2 cups and putting the water of 1 cup into another. But in this case, she is putting all the water in the river. It's like uniting and creating something bigger, something majestic, something that is also spiritual and purifying. It's like a place where people go to purify. Interesting. So possibly you should go to a place so that you can purify your will and purify your understanding of something, possibly. The river Ganga is holy, is a holy place. It's somewhere. And also the vessel that she's using here is very similar to the Temperance. I don't know why I'm getting this also, but there's traveling involved here. Possibly you have to go somewhere to allow this transformation to occur. It's possibly happening in a specific place, like a sacred place, sacred waters, sacred land. You know, the place where the Ganga River starts to flow is in the Himalayas, the mountains. And the water there is so pure and so cold. I feel like there's a certain harshness to this. There's a discipline, there's a harshness, like being in cold water. I don't know why I'm feeling this. Possibly also because of this this card here. So the cups, these two cups are representing Parvati and the things she had to go through so that she could be seen by Shiva as her, as a consort, as a partner. So it's like proving yourself. Seeking that truth in yourself so that you can change the story, so that you can, I see you like changing a tradition, changing, it's like things are supposed to go in a certain way in your life. Like you are born, you go to school, you go to college, you get a boyfriend or girlfriend, you get married, have kids, you have the car, you have, you have that story. But I see you having to create your own story that is out of the traditional molds. And I'm not saying that you're not going to have this pattern or that you are going to have this pattern. It's just an example. What I'm saying is you have these expectations, or someone had these expectations imposed upon you, and you're now having to change. I feel like the essence of your spiritual path is change. Shape-shifting is about changing, is about adapting. And with the wheel here and the Nine of Pentacles, I really feel like the best thing you can do is change, is allow things to change, is to adapt to the lack of something so that you can get much more than what you were thinking. And okay, let's clarify. The Empress. I feel like there's also a lot of abundance and wealth that is a part of your spiritual path. I feel like there's a change in the way you see abundance, changing the way you manage abundance, possibly, or learning how to be responsible, how to make your own rules and your own will be expressed. 10 of Wands. Yeah, I think changing. 5 of Cups, 7 of Cups, 10 of Wands. Something really needs to change and needs to be, I just get this expression all the time. Get it out of your system as fast as you can. I don't know why I'm getting this urgency. Initiation. Why is it urgent? The Lovers. So this is really like a make or break situation. For me, this is about grabbing an opportunity while things are changing, adapting really quickly to a structure, choosing the right things and the right patterns, creating new traditions also. I feel like the Lovers can also be about in this context, I feel like the Lovers can be about discovering pathways that were never experienced in the past. So there's no way you can get any reference point. It's just a blank slate. So you are the one who has to put in the new pattern that will emerge. Trust that you are able to do that as long as you are truthful, as long as you keep yourself on the straight and narrow, let's say. So it's the arrow. It's exactly like this. The truth as protection. So if you know what the truth is of a situation, you know exactly how to choose, even though there is no testing. It's like there's no rehearsal. There's no test phase. There's just going out into the world and being like thrown out into the wolves in a way. But it's actually what propels you to change this pattern. Wow, you have the two deaths, the Kali and Yama, Lord Yama. So masculine and feminine aspects of death. Kali, the urgency. So Kali is about time also. Passing of time. You have to choose fast. Your whole life will possibly be the spiritual process you needed to go through so that you could get to a specific point in time to make a hard choice, or at least a choice that you didn't feel prepared to make. But it was the choice that would make your whole life or break it. And this choice will change patterns that are so, how do I say this? Revolutionizing, possibly? They're so out of the traditional way of doing things, because the Lady of the Harvest is really letting go, just letting go, purifying, letting whatever is not essential go. Wow. How do I say this? This is so, it's, I feel like there's a lot of responsibility here, and it's almost impossible for me to see like the limits of this. I feel like there's no limits. There's this feeling of limitlessness that is kind of scary, but at the same time it's so overwhelming to your mind and your spirit and your system that is just kind of stopping you in your tracks. So I feel like the advice here is that you focus on the next thing and know that the truth will always guide you. It will always make the difference and help you choose wisely, even when there is no map to follow. And that is what is feeding your spirituality. And you are on track to this, towards this change. I feel like it's coming very soon. I feel like you're really on the verge of it right now. Is there a timing? 3 of Cups. I would say 3 months. It can be 3 weeks. It's like you're right on the most important decision in your life right now. Is coming in 3 months or less. And this reading is this preparation. It's like trying to warn you without really revealing what you should do, that you should be prepared to make this decision. It's not a leap of faith exactly. It's more like a decision that is very informed, but the thing is, the information that is available right now is scarce. So it's just this shift that you're making, and you're like the one that moves the page, you know, that turns the page, the one that opens that door into the new reality. And it's like a pioneer energy. I really feel like with the Page of Wands here and Temperance, Ace of Wands, that's so much change and transformation. I feel like you really have this pioneering energy, and it's like being the tip of the spear, the tip of the arrow. That's why it's possibly so hard. It's harsh. I feel like there's a harshness in this reality, in this story. There's a lot of purification. There's a lot of sweating it out. There's a lot of getting something out of the system, out of the way, and being the first one to arrive, to the pioneer, the one that does the groundbreaking thing, that the one that stops a certain tradition or a certain pattern from repeating and brings the right spiritual medicine to heal or to purge, let's say, and start a new, it's like the dawn of a new age, the dawn of a new, completely new pattern of existing, of being, of expressing, of creating, of enjoying life. Very interesting. Thank you so much for this, and if you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye.